This is a list of some genuinely weird things I did while getting shredded. None of this is advice. I don't give these to clients, and I don't think most people need to do them. They're just tactics I used at certain points to make sticking to my food easier. The first one's using a baby spoon, and by this I mean deliberately switching to smaller cutlery to reduce bite size and slower intake per spoon. This works because smaller bites increases the repetitions needed to actually finish a meal, which increases eating time and actually gives your satiety signals time to actually catch up. It increases chewing, which reduces the "where did my food go" effect that normally drives people to want more. I only really used this when I was deep in my cut and I had to pull out a bag of tricks just to get through a specific day. It's pretty helpful for the foods you normally shovel down, and I'm a very fast eater, so sometimes this was actually pretty helpful. It will always fail with hyper tasty foods, and it's easy to compensate by taking bigger scoops. This kind of thing is going to be pretty useless if your overall food structure is just chaotic. Can be helpful, but it does need a lot of factors to keep it in check, so I'm going to put this one in B. Next one is eating with your non-dominant hand. This slows down eating but increases awareness because by reducing your coordination, you force conscious control of every single bite. As I said, I'm a super fast eater, so I actually used it for a while because I was just used to inhaling all of my food. But where I found it fail was at work or social settings. So I'd go on client meetings and team lunches, and you kind of abandon it because of social pressure because you don't want to look awkward in front of a client. So it's useful but doesn't really help that much, and it's kind of awkward, so I'm putting it in C. The next one is brushing your teeth and mouth taping straight after your last meal. I usually stop eating at 7 p.m, so I'd finish my last meal, floss, do my skincare, brush my teeth, and put my mouth tape on. What I found was a lot of evening snack sessions were not really hunger, they were just boredom. And I found that brushing your teeth makes every food kind of taste nasty, and then mouth taping straight after kind of transitions yourself into that sleep mode. And when done together, they act as a kitchen is closed kind of signal. But let's be honest, you can just take the mouth tape off, wait for the toothpaste taste to wear off, and then just eat a snack anyway. And if your calorie intake is too low and you're genuinely underfed, your hunger's just going to overpower it anyway. But I think this is actually a useful tactic, and I think a lot of people could use it and actually benefit from it. So it's going into B. Over to my famous barbarian bowls. You can see a load of examples on my Instagram, but you can even just type in the hashtag barbarian bowl on Instagram and it will come up. And it's simple, made by a clear protein anchor like steak. You could have chicken, you could have tuna. It's pretty much no carbs. And then you just have high volume, low calorie foods to fill the rest of it. Put it in a massive bowl, no sides, no extras. And it works because it's so simple, it collapses the decision making at the moment people usually lose control. Even if you're tired or stressed, it's so simple to make and you can just whip it up in like 5 minutes. So this turns all of those eating decisions into an actual system that just runs on autopilot. You can change the protein source, add 0-calorie noodles, and I'm against having super tasty foods when you're in a cut. So this is actually so reliable. It's straight up one of the best tactics you can use for getting shredded for summer. So this is going straight in S. The next one is using a tiny bowl. This is mostly done to make portions feel larger than they actually are. And then in turn, you kind of trick your brain into feeling more satisfied. I use this on pasta dishes or generally just things with a lot of carbs. But to use it effectively, you need to actually have it measured out before you even put it into the bowl. It works best for things like cereal, granola, and rice, where the portion creep is actually common. But it fails the moment you use that bowl as a justification to snack later. It can help if you've done it before, but realistically, the same food is the same food. So for me, this is going into C. Now, I don't think I've seen anyone talk about this one. But you're eating at one physical location, no phone, no TV, no distractions, and you only eat in this one physical location. The most you can do is just talk to another physical person, not on FaceTime or anything, not on text, in person. This works because distraction is one of the biggest drivers for mindless overeating. When you're watching a movie and you're eating popcorn, you don't know how much you're actually having. You're just dipping your hand in and you're eating. And one physical location creates a strong cue that separates eating from absolutely everything else. And then removing the phone prevents dopamine stacking. And that usually trains people to keep eating long after the hunger is actually gone. Remember, your brain is a pattern machine. Imagine you sometimes eat at your desk. Every time you sit down to do work, your brain's going to think, oh, I normally eat here. So you're just going to get hungry. So this tactic massively reduces snacking. It fails in social or unpredictable environments, but honestly, that can be accounted for. So for that reason, I'm putting it into A. Next one is eating deliberately slowly. I'm talking 30 to 40 chews per spoon. While eating slower can help with fullness, it fails in practice because it relies on constant awareness, which disappears under stress, hunger, and distraction. And without a physical or environmental rule, people will just revert to their old patterns. If you want this to actually work, it needs to be enforced with tactics like pauses, water sips, or cutlery changes. Otherwise, it's just wishful thinking, and that's why it sits at D. And with that being said, over to downing a liter of water before you eat and taking sips after every single spoon. When you drink that 1 liter of water 10 minutes before you eat, it reduces urgency of hunger in the first few minutes, which is where most people overeat. The water adds volume and buys time so your brain can actually catch up before your intake gets out of control. The sip between bites slows the eating rhythm, which breaks the automatic chew, swallow, reach cycle, which makes people overshoot their calories without noticing. Again, this is just a quick tactic, it's not a ritual, and I only really used it when I know I was about to inhale some food. Honestly, for me, this is an elite strategy. This is going straight into S. That's the full list. 2 things in S, my barbarian bowls and the water tactic. Drop a like and comment some of your tactics. I look forward to seeing them. Peace.